All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live update. Today is September 23rd already. So we're just about 2 weeks into the hybrid model, and a lot of things are shifting and taking place that we knew would happen. So we're able to finally get some solid counts for who's coming on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday. We have more procedures going in place for people who have symptoms or students that have symptoms, and what needs to happen. The Department of Health is constantly changing. I'll just put a little disclaimer out there that we follow the Niagara County Department of Health, and we know and have been working with them quite a bit that there's some discrepancies from what Erie County requires and Niagara County requires. So we hope to let you know that if there's updates or changes, we are letting the nurses and the principals and the staff know. Also, if it's anything that affects parents directly, we'll do a global call and we post everything on our webpage. So probably the most up-to-date things that have happened on the webpage is that and on Facebook, we put some contact information for people who are having trouble with the Schoology platform as far as passwords or logging in and that type of issue where there's some phone numbers where you can call, and if you don't get a direct answer right then, you can leave a message and they will call you back because every district, everyone's having trouble with technology. So, and we realize what worked today might not work tomorrow, and that's very frustrating. So we're trying to get more tech support available to parents as well. We're also in the works of creating sort of a question answer video similar to this with our tech people on Schoology, where they may just run through the basics for signing up and getting in, but then also be able to see the questions pop up on the side and answer some questions that parents are having. So we're trying to schedule that and get that up and running, and we'll let you know. We'll create it as an event in Facebook, so you can get a reminder when that's taking place. The other good thing about that is if you're working or you're busy that afternoon when they're doing it, just like my videos, you can access them at a different time and watch what they're saying and get the answers, because a lot of people have the same questions. So that's up and running, and we also have questions about hybrid and remote. And I just want to remind everyone that the first week of October, that week of October 5th, there'll be a district committee getting together for what's working and what needs to be fixed, and as well as looking at what week 11 looks like. So right now in North Tonawanda, knock on wood, there's no COVID cases. I do know that in Niagara County that there was a school district that did have that, and they work with the Department of Health to quarantine the necessary people in that district. And the report from that superintendent was that the Department of Health was very helpful, very responsive, and everything got taken care of in a matter of hours. So that's good news. So hopefully we don't get that call, but when we do get the call, we know that we'll have the help and support to guide people through that. The other thing that's up and running now is what's called our virtual calming space. And we realize that being in a hybrid model or being stuck at home, if you're fully remote or just with all the craziness that goes on in the world on a daily basis, there's a website that you can go to. You can access it through the homepage of northtowandaschools.org, and then virtual calming space. And it can run parents or students through some calming activities to help them regulate and get into that, because a lot of that would take place during the day when students will get anxious, and just because they're not in school doesn't mean they're still not getting anxious. The other reminder is that, especially in K-6, but all the way K through 12, this model is new. No one did a hybrid model before. And when we closed before in March and went remote, we were building the plane as we flew, so to speak. What happened over the summer was that in early August, we knew that a plan and what our regulations would be to open school were. And the big thing is the social distancing. and then wearing the mask, of course, and then all the procedures that we take with temperature taking and symptom watching, as well as cleaning and disinfecting. But each teacher is just like a student, okay? So students are all at different levels. Some students are great in math, other ones need help with ELA. Some teachers are great with live streaming, and some teachers are learning it as they go, so to speak. So we know that as parents talk or students talk, they may say, my teacher did this or my teacher's doing that. And we are providing a lot of professional development and support for our staff. But really, the month of September was meant to get the curriculum going again, kind of do some review because we know a lot of kids missed a lot from March until June, and then had summer off, and get to know the kids either through the remote Wednesdays or through the hybrid model that they're coming in. Because if we get an uptick in COVID and schools are closed, it's very hard to teach students that they don't have a relationship with. So while you may have teachers that are putting out a lot of curriculum and a lot of assignments, and other ones might not seem to be, that's perfectly fine. We're all learning our way in this hybrid remote model, and we are tweaking it daily, hourly, by the minute. So I wanted just to give kudos to the staff here because they're very concerned and want to do a great job, but it's new to them, just like it's new to parents and it's new to the world that we have to make changes in how we educate. So we want to thank everyone for their patience and remind them to continue to be patient because we are hearing that parents are reaching out to teachers all hours of the day, and there should be a cutoff point for teachers too who have families at home and need to take care of themselves so they're mentally prepared to come in and do their job. So, you shouldn't be expecting answers at 9, 10 o'clock at night from staff. I know some staff are. I know I do on times, but then there's also days where I have to put my phone on emergency only. So unless the school district's burning, I need an hour or two to decompress. So keep that in mind when you think that you might not be getting a response. But that said, you should get responses, and there's always the building principal that can help you through it as well. And we want to be as responsive as possible. That's why I'm continuing to do the Wednesday lives to answer people's questions and give the information out and tweak things. So when we meet on October 5th with the district committee, so to speak, about what week 11 basically will look like, because we asked people to try this for 10 weeks, we will not be able to open fully unless the state reduces or removes the social distancing piece, okay? Because that's our district's issue, is that we have over 3,000 students and there's no way to keep them 6 feet apart at all times. So we'll be looking at what week 11 through 20 look like and be getting that information out to people soon after that week 5, so that you have time to plan if there's any changes. So I just want you to know it's constant, it's always changing, and we are all learning together. So thank you for all your patience. And now we get to the questions. Only one of my 3 kids who come to school Monday and Tuesday got a charger. Where's the other chargers? So we ordered additional iPads back in June, and as well as the rest of the world who were using Chromebooks or iPads for schools. And they came with the bricks and no cord. So as of last week, I heard that they were coming the 17th, which was good news. But here we are on the 23rd, and we still don't have them. So we call BOCES daily. BOCES is tracking them for us. And as soon as we get them, we will get them out to you. We're very sorry for that, but it seems to be a rush. I know there's other districts who ordered Chromebooks that are told they won't even get them until October. So they're trying to do remote with kids who have no devices. So there was just a big rush on that. So we are in the process of tracking them. We think they should be here sooner than later. And I can't get on the Wednesday meetings from Seesaw. So we have your name. Best thing is to call the building to make sure. Today, like I mentioned, if you go to the web page, at the very, very top, it says district home and then select a school. So if you select your elementary school for Seesaw, Drake, Ohio, or Spruce, there will be a link to parents' tips on how to get into Seesaw and some troubleshooting that maybe you can do on your own as well. Sometimes it's good to turn the device off and then turn it back on. It needs to reset or download some updates, but that's going to happen. I had a cabinet meeting today via Teams, and one of the administrators, the sound kept going in and out. They had to shut off and come back in. So we're at the mercy of the internet, I guess, a little bit too. I have a hard time sometimes using the tablets because my internet through Spectrum is not always working. Is it okay for my children to do it as they can? Second grade hybrid, fourth grade, 4 days, 12 on one, see more. Let's see. Um, so, yes, we realize that people are working or there's internet issues or you're sharing a device at home. And so um, teachers are keeping that in mind. We are tracking attendance though, so it is important to try to get in. If you really couldn't get in a day, you should probably let the school know that you were trying and you weren't absent, basically, so to speak. I also had a question about why were assignments due like Sunday by midnight or something like that. And it's an attempt to extend the Friday deadline. Okay, so giving people time on the weekend when maybe not everybody's on the internet at the same time in the school district, so that some deadlines will be extended. So there should be flexibility with when they can get the work in and handed in. But again, we're not going to be taking stuff 2 weeks or a month late. Is there any way to access my child's school email? She needs pictures for a project, but they're in my phone, and the only way I can send them is through email. So if you're asking, can I send my pictures to my student's email, you should be able to. Um, the other option for something like that would be to, I'm trying to think with pictures how I do that. I've never tried to email my son a picture when he was in school here. That's a good question. We'll have to get you the answer. I'll have to call technology to see if you're getting filtered or blocked. Might be the case. We will not need a charger at all. So that's the case. Some people do, some people don't. So we'll have extras. I got something to say to you about transportation. Yesterday, a driver told my daughter to get off the wrong spot. She told him that wasn't her spot, and he dropped her off anyways. So, yes, I would double, triple check that with transportation. That shouldn't be happening. I'm not sure, the route, if it changes in the afternoon for drop-off, but it sounds to me by what you're saying is that it was a completely, wrong stop altogether. Transportation should be able to help you and fix that. The teachers and staff at NTI in the middle school have been amazing with my kids who are all remote. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all you've done thus far. I would like my kids to go fully remote. Should I call the board or NTI? So that would be the school because they're going to track it for attendance and need to make the change there. So if you want to go from hybrid to full remote, that's a call to the school. Uh, so with Jessica and the bus stop, I'm assuming they didn't call you back last night or by today yet, so I will, let's see, write this name down. And I will call them after I get off here so they can talk to you. I believe you just have to call the school. Okay, someone's trying to help. Kudos to all the teachers and Mr. Waitilla. You guys have gone above and beyond. I can't imagine being in your situation. I used the iPad to take pictures of my phone pictures. There didn't seem to be a way to share them digitally. Okay, so you kind of worked it out. But I'll ask and see if they're being blocked or why that's happening. It seems like not everyone is on the same page in regards to when the students are supposed to log on and for how long they are supposed to be on Schoology. I have two kids in 8th and 12th grade, and they were each told something different on what to do and when to do it. Okay, so you got to separate 8th from 12th grade because it's two different worlds. 8th grade, again, is a more team approach to how the kids are grouped and put together, and the team should be working together for where assignments are. In 12th grade, students aren't teamed, and they have all the electives in the world, and each teacher, depending on if they give project work or if it's a daily assignment, will have differences for when they need to be on and what they're doing. So my understanding is that from 7th through 12th grade, they should be following their daily schedule. Wednesday could be different. Wednesday could be a set time, or it could be office hours only because they're going to try and reach out to the remote kids who aren't there at all. So that should be cleared up. But if you are saying that something's missing or they got penalized wrong, I would call the school to make sure that there is a mix-up in how the assignments were posted. But 8th grade really should look nothing like 12th grade because they're really two different worlds apart. But if you're in a hybrid model and you are on Monday, Tuesday, your Thursday, Friday should be following a set schedule by what the teacher has told the students in the school. If you're all remote, that'll be different too because the teachers are busy and some are live streaming and some are posting lessons. So it's going to take us a month to tweak all this and get a system. And if a teacher gives a project, for example, even in school days when we were all in school, some kids will wait to the last minute to do the project, and some kids will get it done early, and some kids work on a little bit every day. So then you have that variable as well. But the teacher may say, this is your assignment for the week, I expect it Friday, and then you're going on and saying, well, there's nothing for my kid to do on Thursday, when really the teacher is expecting them to be working on something every day that week. So it's going to be different, and there's no way really around that. When are students able to switch from fully remote to hybrid? So we asked everyone to lock in for 10 weeks. We realized that some families had different situations happen to them, and we've taken some calls. So we know our numbers now. Transportation's the squeeze, really, because we can't fill buses up to 60 anymore. But after the 10-week period, we'll be letting you know how many spaces are available or how to go about doing that. If you have a situation with childcare or something and you'd like us to consider it sooner, you would need to call the school. But those spaces on those days, because of the social distancing, are very tight and filling up, so there's not many. Yes, community service hours. I called the high school to see if they're changing the required hours towards graduation. They told me no, just wondering how kids are expected to go out. So we had that conversation this week, and I have a board meeting the 7th. What we're thinking is that if you do about 7 hours a year, freshman, junior year, sophomore, all those years in your senior year, you would have your requirement done. So because COVID didn't kick in until mid last year, and they kind of waved the wand and didn't make kids finish it for graduation last year. There's probably would be something changed where you should have at least had 14 hours done. There are things that you can do outside safely, cleaning up at the canal. Teachers were talking about organizing cleanup crews where they could take 7 or 8 kids socially distance and meet at a park and clean it up and other things. We know churches are open and they may need help. There are some community events where they're selling chicken dinners and that kind of stuff. So we don't want to penalize anyone with that, but we know it's an important part for our community and our kids to learn. So there will probably be some tweaks made to it, but we're waiting to get a recommendation, number one, from the school and the staff to see how many kids are in what boat, and then what we would make the change, and then we'll let everybody know. I wonder the same thing for senior. Okay, I sent them to my email. Okay. So someone's given advice there on how to get the pictures. And the community service, we know we have to get out to you sooner than later. Yeah, food pantries always use help stocking shelves, yes. But you have to do it safely. So we know that there's not as many opportunities as there were in the past. Can we have a list of what should be done per day instead of having all the work just posted in a random order and says it's to do it on a virtual day? Our teacher is amazing, but I do better on a daily list so I know what's more. So Tanya, if you could tell me what grade level you're at, and we can see about, what we're going to do and tweak going forward. My daughter's OneNote is not working properly and she cannot do her assignments. I cannot help her. Any suggestions? So there is on Facebook today posted some phone numbers you can call. They should be able to fix OneNote for you, or put in a ticket to remotely fix it. So that shouldn't be a problem. Those numbers are listed on the web page as well as Facebook. Any possibility of changing the policy and allowing seventh and eighth graders to play JV sports? Not for the fall, but we'll probably look at it and, see how it goes for the fall and then see what we need to do going forward if this lasts longer. Someone's telling you Botanical Gardens needs help, even Saturday and some on Tuesday. I was told there would be more directions via remote learning, example videos and the directions of how to do an assignment. Elementary has, high school has, but middle school there's only one teacher that my son has that actually teaches and not just sends. Let's see, I lost it. I'm not just sending assignments out the way it is. Us remote people were needed for hybrid to even to be such a thing. Why are these people okay? So, sorry, but very frustrating. I was not trying. Okay, so I think it'll get better for how that's going. Um, if you kind of step back a minute and look at it, like our Monday, Tuesday kids have only been here 4 days. They haven't even been in school a full week. So while we're trying to balance kids in school and virtual, I think you'll see once they get into like a full week, 2 weeks of this going through, there'll be a little bit more of a rhythm on how that will happen. Teachers are still learning how to live stream. They're still learning how to videotape their lessons so it's them and they're not just pushing on a lesson like you're talking about. But there will definitely be a combination of that going forward for the full remote as well. Excellent opportunity for getting community service hours. There's another idea for community service hours at NTAA. Okay, so Tanya's grade 2. Mrs. Logan. Tanya. Lalie. Okay. All right. So we'll look at the daily list there for grade 2. But grade 2 is brand new to this, and those little ones are going to be coming along at a slower pace, but we'll see what we can do. My third grader has to carry supplies to school on each of her in-class days, along with lunch, water bottle, iPad, etc. It's making for a very heavy backpack. Can't they have a bin to let the school? So, there could be a way to do that. We just don't want other kids getting in there by mistake and touching it and all that stuff when they're not there. And I know some teachers bought them, other teachers were utilizing like a box system type of way to do that. I would put a request if that's a problem, but if you have 2 book bags, there's no reason I don't think they could leave 1 book bag zipped up in the classroom until they get back for at least the school supply stuff because she needs to take the iPad back home. Let's see, I think I lost something here because it says they've never been checked the elementary they've never been checked the elementary kids for weapons. I wonder, like, if you're talking like security or metal detectors type of thing. So I don't know a lot of schools that are doing that. We do have protocols and safety in each building. But if you're having a problem with something, I'd call the school to see if you think that that was a problem. Um, they're they're never had access to backpacks all day either. Um, so at the secondary level, I'm reading it because that didn't make sense to me, but at the secondary level where they're not using lockers, they are being allowed to carry backpacks more to help with that. The elementary level, they're in the room all day, so there should be no, like we were saying, no access to backpacks that's in the room. So it would just be at the teacher's discretion when they can get into them. Is there any say when all kids go back to school? So we're waiting on probably a vaccine. The problem with the vaccine is that I don't know that they'll force you to get it or that they'll know that it works or that the governor lessens up the social distancing requirement because until that happens, um, we would be out of compliance. Uh, they have to in the back of the class. What did I miss about Pictures Day? So I know the elementary schools are planning it different than the secondary level. From what I saw last week, junior high and high school understood how they were doing Picture Day and how they were going to do that. Elementary's still looking to do that, and they're planning a day probably on a Wednesday that the virtual kids can come in if they want that done as well. He said the state has, okay. All right. Okay. So it gets a little confusing. I think the people who are helping with answers and suggestions, but then I get like half a question or people are in the middle of a sentence, and so I'm not sure what they mean. But I did take down a couple of notes today for number one, the picture and sending to the kids' email. And second grade, we want to see if we can get a list. And then some of the other things I wrote down with names as far as the busing issue that happened. So just keep in mind that we're doing the best we can. I will reiterate again that the staff from the transportation, the cleaning crews, the aides, the teachers, the administrators have all put in more hours than you can imagine to try and answer questions and figure things out and get kids back safely. So we're going to continue to do that. We're going to be meeting soon to give you direction for what happens after week 10 and where we're at. And we'll just keep you updated as best we can by doing these videos, doing the Facebook push outs and the web page. Whenever you are in doubt with something, I go to the Facebook first. And if you're having a specific problem or a request, it's always best to start with the teacher, then the principal, and then we go up the chain of command there a little bit because I'm just going to basically go back down and see what's happening as well too. And I know that they're very responsive for all the cases and questions that we've had. And we have a lot of teachers going above and beyond to try and make this work, and it's very stressful for them because they're managing three groups at least at a minimum. If you think they have the kids in front of them, and then there's the other kids who are home on the hybrid day, and then the full remote kids. So it's brand new to everybody, and we're building the plane as we fly, so to speak. But I know that I'm very safe in this plane because we have a lot of caring, dedicated staff here in North Tonawanda who are spending hours and hours to do this on the weekend and at night. And so I'm sad and disappointed if there's a parent who feels that's not happening because I can give you example after example on that this is happening. But again, if you consider we have 600 employees and there's 3,500 students, there's probably no way we'll get to all of you in one day, even if we tried. So thank you for your continued patience and let us know, again, by starting with the teacher and then the building principal, and then so on if we need to. And I will work on these three things. If there's something globally I can type later as a response, I will do that. And one last question, it says, all kids in K-12 are carrying book bags all day long. It's something they have to do if lockers aren't available. So I think someone's answering that again. But K-6, they're not moving, so the book bag's in the room with them. They may have to take it if they switch for one class to math to ELA, but they're not carrying it around all day. No, they aren't. Okay. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Please share this video so the information gets out. And stay safe and stay strong. And look for more direction after October 5th week. So after our Columbus Day recess, what will week 11 will look like, basically, and what will be changing. All right. So have a good day, and thank you, everybody.